Without trust, life would be impossible to live. You know, how can you do anything unless you trust that God will help you? How can you do anything unless you trust that the people you are working with will do their part of the bargain? How can you even sleep if you don't trust that there will be no thief coming to your house? How do you can't live life without trust? No one says, oh, me, I have no faith. There's no human existence without faith, without trust. And so it's important to understand the issue is not lack of trust. It's not lacking something or somebody to trust. The issue is, are you trusting the right person? How much of him do you trust? And how do you act on your trust? So I think the first thing is the question of who do you trust? If you trust the wrong thing, you are likely to end up creating chaos. For example, you go to a juakali, somebody is trying to copy paste a Japanese creation, and he actually makes it, and you carry it, and electric blows up your house because you of the person you trusted. The issue is not, the problem is not trusting, but who do you actually trust? Or you trust somebody who is consistently a liar, and you start pretending now he is no longer lying, and you don't even prepare any way of ensuring even if he fails, you still can go on. It will create a problem. So the first thing is you must be careful who you trust. You must trust, but you must be careful who you trust. If it's a human being, you must watch him over time before trusting. Don't meet somebody and you trust him immediately. Oh, that guy is good. You know that's how con men work. Because a conman knows how to present his case. He knows how to make you feel great. And you finally commit. You trust him. Short while later, you have lost all your savings because you did not do due diligence before putting trust. So it's important to trust, but who you trust matters. And so, in arriving at who to trust, you must convince yourself that you have actually verified that this person is worth trusting. You must give reasons. That's why, for example, before you can employ somebody, you want to look at his CV to see his track record. But even that, he could fake it. That's why you want to meet him personally and ask him questions to verify that what is written in the CV is actually him. And even that you don't trust enough. You look for where he was working before and you ring them. You look for the referees he has put there and you ring them and ask them tricky questions about him. All that, so that because as soon as you employ him, you have to trust him with his department. You have to trust him with his tasks and his job description. But before trusting him, have you done due diligence? So, have you been disappointed by people and things a lot? Are you not likely to be a person who is reaching a level where you don't trust? Do you understand that if you reach a level where you don't trust anybody or anything, you can progress? Life is not lived singly, we live with others. So if you are unable to trust anybody or anything, life cannot be lived. So you need to ask yourself, it is true I was disappointed, but what did I learn out of it about human behavior? What did I learn out of it about inventions? What did I learn out of it? One day I was in a petrol station, and somebody Somebody, as I'm dealing with the petrol station at Tedan, somebody came and said, I'm selling eggs, a whole tray. And the price was so low, I thought I would go and surprise my wife with the eggs. I didn't ask myself, why are they so cheap? Why are they being hawked? I just carried them. When I took them home, they turned out they had chicks, and they had chicks, all of them. Could not eat even one of them. I lost the little money which I had put into it. Another time I was on the road, and there are these people who stop you on the roadside. And he gave me a toolbox. He opened up the pieces, showed me all of them. And as I was telling him I don't want to buy because I didn't trust him, I told him, I can't pay you more than 1,000. He said, bring it. Now it was difficult for me to say no. I carried it home. Started the first screw, wow, it broke. Started the second one, I turned it round, it broke. All the pieces broke. So we must be careful about who we trust. But Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord. So before you ever trust in a human being, seek God. It is not human beings you should trust. It's God who can help you to verify a con man or somebody worth trusting. Your trust should not be you human beings. In fact, the Bible elsewhere says, "Cast is he who puts his trust on man." So Proverbs say, no, 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 no. Don't put your trust on man. Put on God. So that when you are having a relationship, it's because you have prayed, you have sought the mind of God. So this person could fail you, but you know God led you into it. I think the important thing is trust in God, not man. Even in a family situation, please understand that your wife could fail you. So don't enter into marriage because the girl looks beautiful. Seek the mind of God. Is this the lady you are leading me to? Then God will manage her later in marriage if she feels your trust. And you remind God, I trusted you. And God will take you through. I think it's an important thing to ask yourself, how did I end up here? Don't enter into something which you have not consulted God on, because you should not be trusting human beings. You should be trusting God. And when you put your trust in God, human beings can fail you, but you'll not be in shock because you turn to God who will help you out of the situation. He is saying, trust in the Lord. He also says that trust is with that the people who are godly, they don't put their trust on horses. They trust in God. So check, where are you putting your trust? But I think the second thing Proverbs 3:5 is saying, trust in the Lord with all your heart. In other words, there's a possibility you trust in God, yes, but you have started trusting yourself. You believe you are so good at doing due diligence, you are so good at assessing human behavior. You no longer pray, you just enter into deals. You have now moved away from trusting the Lord fully to trusting the Lord partly and trusting yourself the other part. But maybe it's not even that. You trust in the Lord, but you also trust somebody. You know, in 1988, I was a passenger in the Kenya Airways plane that crashed crashed in Kisumu. I say crashed. Some people would have said crash landed, but it just crashed onto the runway without wheels. And even the pilot was not aware that he had not removed the wheels. And I knew, what? Pilots are so highly trained, so highly trained. How could they fail? I learned as I entered an aircraft. I place myself in God's hands. Human beings, even the best trained, can fail you. In that situation, we crashed, but we survived. That's God. I learned to put my trust in God. So when I go before a doctor, I do the same. I will do my due diligence as to whether this doctor is worth going to, but in addition to that, I will seek God's mind as to this doctor. Whatever professional I deal with, I realize human beings have their limitations. I must trust myself in God's hands. So, trust in the Lord. The first problem is you might be trusting in the Lord, yes, but not with all your heart. There's a second problem. You trust in the Lord and you lean on your own understanding. Especially as you grow older and you have done this, you have done that, you have been there and you have been here, you tend over time to start trusting yourself, to start leaning on your own understanding and stop seeking God's mind. Alternatively, there are some things you have not yet done, those ones you trust God. But the things you have a track record for, you start trusting your track record. Or some things are big, some are small. So on big things, you go to God. On small ones, you trust your own understanding. What I hear the writer of Proverbs telling you is you really want to enjoy your life and your total future in every aspect of it in the Lord. And do so with all your heart. And then one of the ways of showing that you have trusted God fully is that you no longer lean on your own understanding. You know how limited it is, your understanding. You know it has failed you before and could fail you again. You know the devil is at work to confuse men, and you realize, yes, I have done well before, but no, I cannot trust myself. I want to trust in God. So what have we said? That you can't do without trust. You must trust people. If you're a supplier, there must be some level of trust of a customer. If you're a customer, there must be some level of trust of the supplier, because you'll not be able to test everything before you pay the price. There must be some level of trust, even between a husband and wife. No marriage can last without trusting people. In other words, you have no proof, but you trust them. No relationship can work without some level of trust. So we say trust is a matter. But secondly, we have said it matters who you trust. That you must verify before trusting. If somebody tells you, trust me, be very suspicious of him. Because why should you trust him? He needs to give you the evidence as to why he is trustworthy. Trust me, I've never lied. It's my wife who says when you see somebody praising himself in a certain area, that may easily be his place of weakness. So we are saying trust is a must, but it matters who you trust. So we have finished by saying the only one you can trust without question is God. Put differently, the only instruction you can take without question is the Bible, God's word. Any other document saying if you eat this, this will happen, you eat that, that will happen, be suspicious about it. Do due diligence before trusting yourself into that menu or that medicine or that prophet or that apostle.